Brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning to you on Thursday. Here we are at Thursday, making our way through the week, and we'll talk about some news. What do you say?
Well, let's do it.
All right. Voting in a couple of small towns, voters, I should say, in a couple of small towns had their say in special elections this week. Willard voters picked a new mayor after the election back in April, you'll recall, ended in a deadlock, a tie, an exact tie. This time around, though, no tie. Troy Smith won with nearly 100 votes more than his opponent, former Mayor Sam Snyder. So that is settled. And then in Fair Grove, Kelly Petty was elected as an alderman in Ward 2, ousting incumbent there, Jeff Danderson. The revote happened because some ballots were incorrectly issued for the original vote back in April. So a couple of special elections are now completed. A little more now on the case of that woman. We've been following this, who was held in prison for 43 years. A judge now says incorrectly so. The judge recently ruled that Sandra Hemme had been wrongfully convicted and must be released from jail within 30 days. And the clock is ticking. Missouri's Attorney General, though, says not so fast. He's asking the Missouri Court of Appeals to review the judge's ruling to overturn the woman's conviction for a murder that happened back in 1980. There's some evidence that came out that pointed to a police officer actually committing that murder. He's now deceased. So this case continues. It looks like she may be held for a little while longer, and the state wants to gather the facts, I guess.
All right. Springfield's Planning and Zoning Commission will hear a proposal by the city today to buy a piece of property on North Boonville. That property will become home to the city's Workforce Development Department. It's an office building just south of Commercial Street with a price tag of $3.7 million, but would need $2.5 million worth of improvements. So we'll see about that. Also, Bass Pro Shops is planning to open its newest store in Texas this week. It'll be located in Grand Prairie outside of Dallas and employ about 130 people. Another Texas store is being built in Odessa and should be open next spring. Very good. The federal government is looking at new routes for Amtrak passenger train service. One option would go between New York City and Dallas and connect Springfield with Tulsa and with St. Louis along the way. The cost of the new rail line would be $5 billion. Wow. The federal study looked at several options for service, but ranked New York to Texas route as highly likely or highly traveled. Right now, they're just looking at potential options for Amtrak. Springfield has not had passenger train service since the late 1960s.
You know, that's a lot of money for sure, but I think it would be cool to have that as a service. I don't know if enough people would ride it to make it worth it or not.
I don't know that it would be worth it through Springfield. I mean, obviously, New York City, Dallas, St. Louis, Tulsa are much bigger than Springfield. So
but it goes through here. It goes through here, regardless of whether you ride it or not. Yeah. So it would now is an option for people going to Tulsa,
which would be
St.
cool.
Louis.
Yes.
Yeah. Where am I? Yeah, a judge threw out a motion by Planned Parenthood to dismiss a lawsuit claiming the organization trafficked minors across state lines to have abortions. That lawsuit by the state of Missouri claims Planned Parenthood took minors into Kansas to get abortions without parental consent, based on a video shot by conservative group Project Veritas. A lawyer for Planned Parenthood says there's no proof the clinic broke the law, rather just a recorded conversation about the potential of doing that. And it is the state of Missouri that filed that lawsuit against Planned Parenthood, so it continues now. The summer harvest campaign is underway for Ozarks Food Harvest, the local food bank trying to provide 45,000 meals for children in our area. The campaign includes several events for you to join the Ozarks Food Harvest in collecting money and or food over the next several weeks, because that campaign runs through the month of August. So find something you want to be part of and do it up. Help the Ozarks Food Harvest. And then there's this. Speaking of driving and trains, when it comes to road trips, apparently the drive from St. Louis to Branson is a popular one. I would not have guessed that, having driven Interstate 44 up there several times. A new study compiled by the top 130 road trips in the country, and the St. Louis to Branson drive ranked number 13 in the nation. Isn't it? Probably during the fall would be my guess. I think that's probably the attraction. There are some pretty hills, but it is a curvy interstate for sure. And then the drive from Springfield to the Mark Twain National Forest ranked number 23 on the list. So they like looking at trees. Kansas to Lake of the Ozarks came in at number 97 on the list.
I would think that St. Louis to Branson would be people going to either Table Rock during the summertime or potentially to Silver Dollar City during the wintertime or summer break when their kids are out of school. I don't know. I guess I am surprised that it's number 13 out of 130. But I think Silver Dollar City advertises in St. Louis. I know they advertise in Oklahoma where I grew up.
Yeah.
So I like Branson. I like it a lot.
I grew up in St. Louis, and we took a couple of vacations when I was a kid to Branson, and we did it. We did it in the summer because I remember the pool. But I also remember hearing my parents and grandparents talk about driving down to see the leaves change. And whenever I drive up to St. Louis to visit family now in the fall, I always look at the leaves, and it's beautiful. It is a nice drive when you're considering that.
Yes.
But when you're in a hurry to get to a soccer game or back home after a soccer game, it's not the greatest.
Yes. All right. Saturday is the annual Taste of Somo Festival. It's from 11 to 3 at Park Central Square. Attendees can sample the different foods and then go vote on your favorite dish. So that is fun. You can find all the information at tasteofsomo.com. tasteofsomo.com. All right, this weekend is also the 23rd Sertoma Duck Race Festival. Starts tomorrow at the Finley River Park in Ozark. It is so fun. There's a big duck race, a rubber ducky race, and it's a good time. People can make a donation to adopt a toy rubber duck that will be dropped into the river with 20,000 others, and then they float down. The first rubber duck to cross the finish line wins a new car.
That's not bad.
Price is right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night features the hot air balloon glow, which is also always popular. That is at 8:45, the balloon glow.
Yeah, we used to live years ago. We lived in that area, and we went down to the park. That was a park that we would take our kids to when they were little anyway. But the balloon glow is cool, and the duck race. We emceed that one time several years ago.
One or two times, and it was great fun. I mean, I like it because it is just a game of chance. I mean, there's 23 rubber duckies, but somebody's going to win a car, and it's just fun to watch someone win a car. I mean, hopefully you, but even if it's not you, there's something like, wow, like that's huge, all expense paid car. Yes, please. That's amazing.
And that's not the only prize. They're giving away jewelry.
Oh yeah, there's
jewelers
lots
for
of
second place, and they've got other prizes if you don't end up in first. But it is a good time, and the Sertoma Club does such a great job supporting charities around the Ozarks, and this is one of their biggest, maybe their biggest fundraiser of the year. So support it. It's great.
All right, that's this weekend. Have fun. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday, and we hope to see you back here tomorrow morning.
Yep, we still got Friday to go, so hang in there. We're getting close tomorrow.